It's July 27, 2026. It's 5:30. Lauren, you want to take roll call?
Councilmember Wiley.
Present.
Councilmember Tradewell.
Here.
Mayor Rolfe.
Here.
Councilmember West.
Present.
Councilmember Bray Johnson.
Here.
Thank you.
And for those in attendance or at home, we're going to be discussing here during the work session the budget for 2027. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
As you know, this is the first budget work session. Generally, just a high-level overview of the process, introduction to the preliminary 2027 budget and levy. A lot of it is still estimates, but each meeting we will have more up-to-date information. You know, the big item that we're waiting for is the county tax data, which we will receive in August, so we will have that before our next budget work session in August. Carrie Thorson is here tonight from Abdo Financial Solutions to go over the 2027 preliminary budget and levy presentation. The other thing I wanted to say is we usually call out some of the big highlights that we see so far in the preliminary work that we've done on the budget, and then get into some of the CIP stuff. So with that, I'll turn it over to Carrie.
Lauren, do you want to present, or do you have?
I can present.
Or
prefer
I just don't have a. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
1.9.
All right, let me get connected here. There we go. Is there anything else I have to do? So it's waiting for connection. There we go. I just have to ask about it and then it will go. All right, we are here, Mayor and council members, the 2027 budget workshop. So today's agenda, we will just cover the budget timeline. We will go through the budget components, the council's role in the budget process, and then highlight just on a really high level the general fund, revenues and expenditures, and then we'll slightly cover the CIP. So just to show the 2027 budget calendar, this is where we are at the second part of July. So we are at the first budget work session. And this just kind of lays out the process. We'll have the second budget work session in August. And as you remember, the preliminary levy and budget will have to be certified the end of September. And our plan is to have that preliminary levy and budget council meeting on the 14th of September. And then October, we will start to look at some of the enterprise funds budget. And then as of December 31st, we will have to have the final certification. And according to this calendar, we have the public input meeting, TNT council meeting, scheduled for December 14th. Here we'll just go through really quickly because I know all of you have seen this many times, just the different components of the budget, the city funds. We will be primarily looking at the general funds and some of the capital project funds initially here. The operating budgets, we look at the revenues, which your primary sources are your property taxes with some other additional items. Expenditures, your primary expenditures are your wages and benefits, but then we will also take a look at what impact that has on your property taxes. The operating budgets are used for the enterprise funds, are made up of the user fees and then the wages and benefits and some of the operating costs. As you can see here, general fund levy, EDA, your debt service, and your capital levies make up your property tax levies. Then the enterprise funds are funded by user fees primarily. So tonight, we want to take a look at the preliminary levy, or the preliminary budget and levy, and set any goals that the council would like to establish. So we will cover the 2027 budget highlights here. Taking a look at the revenue, the interest earnings, we're budget conservatively like we usually do every year. Just because you never really know what the returns are going to be. We had a decrease in intergovernmental revenue, primarily because we budgeted for the Met Council contribution last year for the comprehensive plan. And then we did have a slight increase in the plan review fees and the septic system fees to align more closely with the actual costs that we've been seeing. Expenditures, we budgeted for the preliminary budget for a 3% COLA for staff. We budgeted health insurance overall increase of 15% and I think we just recently got some of our final premium costs that we will implement in the next round, but we just got those. And then we budgeted for property insurance and work comp insurance of 10%. Administration decreased $31,000 due to staffing changes. Planning and zoning decreased by $47,000 due to the comprehensive plan that was budgeted in 2026. The computer services decreased by $30,000 due to the computer replacements that we budgeted in 2026. So we had some of those costs that we planned to help with the new building that are now no longer in the required for the 2027 budget. Police services increased by approximately $50,000 because of the Anoka County contract. Fire management increase. This was one of the larger increases in the budget because we did budget for a full-time fire chief position. And then that was partially offset by the lower salaries required for the part-time positions then. Public Works increased by $32,772, primarily due to the higher fuel costs and supply costs that we're seeing with the inflation and things like that. Park and park maintenance increased by $48,000. We did reallocate staff costs in the general fund budget to align also with the actual, because staff code their time to what they're actually spending time on. So we allocated those across the budget into the different departments more accurately this year. So those were some of our highlights in the budget. This is the CIP and what we have budgeted for 2027 CIP. I believe we also have the extended 10-year plan that we have printed out, or hopefully you received also. So the road improvements, we have $742,630, just planning for a 3% increase each year. Public Works budgeted for a truck with a plow replacement to replace the 2008 Chevy for $67,000. The pop trailer replacement to replace the 1996 Clement for $30,000, and the felling trailer for $18,000. Public Safety then has the radios and tablets for $64,000, and a 2001 pumper truck for $1.2 million. We also have some lease options that are available for this pumper truck to consider. And then turnout gear replacement. We are budgeting this annually to start to replace some of this turnout gear. And then also the Parks and Recreation, we have the trail maintenance for $65,000. This is resulting in CIP costs for 2027 of $2.2 million, including the pumper truck. So that's a quick, really brief overview of the budget process, but I wanted to be sure that we allowed some time for discussion and questions and things like that. So I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Thank you. I know one of the first slides was our goals. I'm sure all of us have some ideas and clearly this is our first meeting, but I'd like everybody to have an opportunity to throw a couple out there if they have any or questions. Maybe just to kind of get the ball rolling here. I've got a few that I guess I'd like for the council to consider. The 3% COLA, I'm good with that. And again, we don't need to decide all this tonight, but just kind of throwing it out there. We had talked about, the 2050 comp plan fee of clearly now not the 2050, but the 2060 of budgeting a little bit each year. So, 10 years down the road, who's ever sitting up here, they're not like, oh, shoot, this costs a lot more than we thought. So I think that's something that we should consider. The police contract, unless we want to go without any law enforcement service in the city, there's not a whole lot we can do with that. The full-time fire chief, obviously this is more of a discussion, but I support that. I have a lot of reasons why, which we can talk about another time. Some things that I'm going to throw out there to also consider that are kind of beyond what you've mentioned. The gopher feet, we could get rid of that.
Why do you keep going after my gopher feet?
The charitable gambling, I honestly think that we should be done with that and let the pull tab people keep the money. I mean, initially we were taking the money and donating a lot of that money back. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's just a cash grab that the city's getting. Yes, we are spending on some things that are benefiting everybody, but I think that's something that we could look at, and we wouldn't be the only city that's made that change. We also have, the actual increase of the 300 plus, we'll just say, and a couple things I think we should think about before we just say, hey, yeah, let's go for that, is we have about $300,000 sitting in an account from last year's budget of where we had the surplus that's sitting there in, la la land. We used that 4 years ago to bring things down. I don't want to play the game here that, oh, we have this money, bring it down, deal with it next year and all that, but how can you sit there and look at the public and say, well, we have $300,000 that we could do something with, but we're going to save it and just increase the taxes. So I think it's something to think about. And a few years back, when we were talking about the CIP for the fire department, we had, not on paper, but we kind of mentally set aside, I forget what it was either $200,000 or $300,000 for these air packs, but we got a grant for them. So now that money could, again, be used, just leave it in the CIP, but not have to contribute money into the CIP for this year. But again, I want everybody to have an opportunity, so with that, I'll just leave it with that. So anybody else want to go next?
I'll go.
John?
Two quick things. First of all, you indicated that the annual roads increase was 3%. Was there a number associated with that 3%?
I think we've just been increasing it 3% each year from the
3%?
original 700,000.
Based on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think each year we just add an inflationary rate. to
Okay.
that.
All right. And then the 1.92 total increase, did that include sort of everything you talked about there? So with all of that, 1.92 increased levy.
On the rate, correct?
On the rate.
The rate,
right.
yes.
Yep. So 27 point whatever.
Yep.
Okay. And then the pumper for 1.2 million. Can you give me an assessment of that, Rob? Is that something that we're desperately in need of doing, or?
Well, the one we have is a 2001,
Yep, I know that.
and it's all, that, now when we're building, we're using stainless steel piping.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to build a 20-year truck. That was built as a 10-year truck.
Right,
It's at, 3 years old,
right.
so. And not only, if you don't purchase one sooner, then you're gonna have more trucks coming
Are we
to the 20-year mark.
are we still looking at a year or plus to get the truck?
Oh, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I had for now.
We'll wait long enough, we won't have any questions left.
Well, go ahead, Paul.
Two things, I know it wasn't included, but obviously next time, like when you're saying, these things in the CIP, it would have been nice to know what the current balance is. Do we have enough to cover all these things or not? I didn't see it in there, maybe I didn't look hard enough.
I didn't see it either.
You didn't see it? Okay.
Thought it was in the work session package.
Okay. So I didn't see that. So I was,
I did do CIP a little bit differently this year. I created graphs, so it has the individual, actually, I could probably pull it up here. Bear with me. So I have the individual items above each fund and what the revenues and expenditures are. And
Raise look different.
I did send that with the budget package,
maybe that-
so hopefully.
that's why I missed it.
What was it? Just looks a lot different.
Okay. Yeah, so it does look different this year. I thought it was a little bit easier to see what items are for each fund, rather than them all combined together and then the funds below. But if there's information you want taken out or added, I can always adjust accordingly going forward.
Yeah, I still don't.
It might
See
just
it.
be,
It's at the back of the works. It's on page, starts on page 17 of the.
Oh, holy cow.
packet,
it's
PDF
gotta
packet.
be bigger.
My
I'll bring my glasses.
computer.
Because I was looking for it in those first charts, all with the view. Okay, well, I'll look further at that because I just wanted to see where, and I know we continue to try to make adjustments, but like one of the things he brought up, the mayor brought up, was I was also thinking that I'm like, well, no, we don't want 50,000 back. We want to make sure that if we can just put $5,000 a year away for the next 10 years and have 50 or put 6 or 7, that way, we might be off a little bit, but it's easy to make up 10,000 versus make up $70,000, and then all of a sudden you have a jump in your taxes because you weren't, smart enough to think ahead. So
Yes.
if we can continue to look at that stuff like the others, like we want to get out further where they're like this pumper truck, we should be within 100,000, 200 of that, and I'm sure we're not, but we should be. If we had been doing what we've been doing for the last 2-3 years, we would have been there. So
And
Especially if it's a 20-year item.
correct, yeah. Yep.
right, and so we went out 10 years on the CIP, and then we just have a slight increase in the levy to account for.
Perfect.
You
So
know, those-
we're starting to do stuff with it. So
Yes.
we just got to get there. But I
Yes.
think that was about all those two
And
things.
just also, Paul, staff did go through and inventory the whole CIP, both Public Works and Fire, and we gave each replacement asset on there and then the lifespan. So some of these are more than 10 years, some are 15 years, some are 20 years. So we did provide all that information to have.
Okay. Because I think that's really going to help in the future. It's with those kind of things. So that's all.
Mike, Angie?
I just got a question for Rob. Rob, with that pumper, what's it, 21 years old, I think?
I think it's a 2001.
So,
25.
is it breaking down, or you haven't major problems with it? Is it working well?
Well, at current rate, the electrical system in it is so obsolete that it's hardly flashing lights for the staff. It's just.
I know you want a new truck. That's not what I'm getting at. You know, I mean,
The city's gonna need one, and quite frankly, if we thought about it sooner than later, we could possibly get one before the engine emissions standards, and it's even more expensive. Next round of emissions.
so far you've been just having electrical issues and stuff with the lights.
Well, that one there, the valves will get replaced quite often, pumps been rebuilt, it's getting paid. Transmission, motor.
Right.
You can't put a lifespan on it, but, they get used hard. Go from zero to fast to stop and get used.
Yeah, I realize I get used and stuff. I just wanted to find out what condition it's in, you know?
Can't tell you that
I don't
know
expect you to
that.
predict for the future. I just want to know if it's been like a big problem where we're spending $100,000 every year on replacing stuff on it or whatever.
No, because I think Public Works does such a good job of upkeep on everything. We're keeping ahead of it, but it is heading towards the cliff.
Right.
There's that.
Okay, well, you should be able to put collector plates on that too by now, huh?
Should what?
Should be able to get collector plates on that too.
We're so cheap, we don't even buy plates for.
Thanks, Rob.
Spent $1 million for it, but no plates.
No plates.
I'm not in favor of getting rid of the gold for feet.
Thank you.
Let's keep them. I have a question for Rob as well regarding a grant for a chief. Didn't you apply for some type of grant for a chief?
There's safer grant, but we will not know the outcome till possibly September the 8th.
Okay. Okay. So
And
that's
that was a
been-
3-year grant, right?
Yeah, it started
Yeah.
out every year substantially.
Diminish, yeah.
So it's looking at this as kind of the worst case scenario if we,
Yeah.
if we didn't get
Right.
that. So-
Just a follow on. If we were to order that pumper truck, is there any money down when we usually do that, or is it just basically a contract?
Pay for the chassis first
Okay.
before you make.
I thought we paid for the whole thing and saved
Yeah,
like
we
50
got a- we
grand
got a
or
big
something.
savings by
Yeah, there was a deal that we could get.
Yeah. That's why I was just asking.
substantial amount of money by paying for it before we even ordered it. And of course.
Have you even
it
started?
was, And again, the problem with waiting too long on replacing the engine is then you have a tank there when it seals it's not gonna be proper. You know, it's a cycle.
That's why we got to spread it out. Thank you.
I just want to make sure I have the numbers right. What are we contributing for the CIP into Public Works and what into fire? Just the total. I just want to make sure I got the right number.
So I have the levy, capital projects levy. Oh, and it's not showing up for me.
Proposed 27.
So total CIP, do you want the total CIP or the
I just
total
want
levy?
individually, not each item, just what fire is and what Public Works is. Just, I want to make sure I'm looking at it
The
right
input.
here.
So Public Works is 115,000. Public Safety is 1,289,000. That's with the pumper truck.
But what are we
Oh,
budgeting
levy.
to put into the capital fund for the year? Because I know it's not 1.2 million.
Right.
What's going
So,
on?
2027 levy has Public Works 100,000. Public Safety, Fire Department 100,000. Health, 60,000. And road improvements, 425,866.
And we feel that's enough. I mean, with the stuff you guys have been doing, looking out right now,
Yep.
and current balances and all
Yep,
that.
yep, if you're, because we're spreading it out, we're trying, yep.
Wow. No, that's why I
Yeah.
had to make sure.
And definitely take a look at that CIP because that kind of shows the whole picture for the next 10 years.
Yeah. I just still think before we close this out, we can't forget about that money from last year because how do you justify 6.8% levy increase when that money's sitting there? So again, we're very early on. A lot of numbers still need to be gathered, but I think we just don't want to forget about that. And at some point, I'd like to talk more about that charitable gambling thing, but we can do that outside of the work session. So, anything else before we end this? All right. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
and we will end our work session here at 5:55, and we'll start the regular scheduled council meeting in 5 minutes.